Long ago, in a small Dutch village nestled at the foot of the Catskill Mountains in America, there lived a man named Rip Van Winkle. He was a kind, gentle, easygoing fellow, the kind of man who'd help any neighbor fix a fence or watch over their children, but who somehow could never find the energy to fix his own home or tend his own farm. Everyone in the village loved him, especially the children, who he'd often help fly kites or tell stories to. He had a faithful dog named Wolf, who, much like his master, was lazy and henpecked, in a small farm that grew wilder and more neglected every year. His one real flaw, and it was a big one, was that he hated work above all things. His fences kept falling apart, his fields filled with weeds, and his wife scolded him from morning till night about it. No matter how hard she tried, nothing seemed to motivate Rip to lift a finger around the house. To escape her endless scolding, Rip would often wander to the village inn, where he'd sit beneath a tree with the other old men of the town, discussing old news and lazy gossip for hours under the watchful painted sign of King George III swinging above them. But even the inn wasn't always a safe escape. Sometimes his wife would march straight in and chase him out in front of everyone, leaving him no choice but to take to the hills with Wolf and his old rusty gun, just to find some peace. One crisp autumn afternoon, that's exactly what he did. He climbed higher and higher into the Catskills, enjoying the quiet, the rustling leaves, and the wide views of the Hudson Valley below. Hours passed without him noticing, and soon the golden afternoon began fading into a misty blue evening. Just as he turned to head home, he heard a strange voice calling out, "Rip Van Winkle! Rip Van Winkle!" He looked around, startled, since no one else seemed to be nearby except his dog, who growled nervously. To his surprise, he saw a short, odd-looking old man dressed in antique Dutch clothing, a doublet, baggy trousers, and a pointed cap. Struggling up the mountain path with a heavy wooden keg on his shoulder, the man gestured for Rip to help carry it. Curious and ever helpful, Rip obliged and followed the strange figure deeper into the mountains. They climbed through a narrow ravine, the rocks rising steeply on either side, until they reached a small hollow that opened into a hidden amphitheater surrounded by tall cliffs. There, Rip's eyes widened. A group of strange, silent men sat scattered around, dressed in old-fashioned Dutch clothing, just like his guide. Some had long beards, broad bellies, and solemn, almost ghostly faces. They were playing a game of ninepins, the wooden balls rolling and crashing with a sound like distant thunder rolling through the mountains. Not one of them spoke a single word, though they glanced at Rip from time to time with curious, knowing eyes. The strange old man motioned for Rip to set down the keg, then poured a drink into an old wooden flask and offered it to him. The drink was unlike anything Rip had ever tasted, rich, strange, and wonderful. He took a sip, then another, and soon felt his eyelids grow heavy, his body sinking into the soft, mossy ground beneath the trees. A deep, dreamless sleep took hold of him. When Rip finally stirred and opened his eyes, sunlight was streaming through the leaves above. He blinked, confused. It felt like he'd only napped for a few minutes, yet something was very wrong. His joints ached terribly. His beard had grown long, tangled and gray, and his old rifle, lying beside him, was rusted through, the wood rotted and crumbling. Wolf, his loyal dog, was nowhere to be found. Confused and stiff, Rip rose slowly and made his way back down the mountain toward the village, his mind racing with questions. But as he entered the village, nothing looked familiar. The houses had changed. Strange new buildings stood where old ones used to be. People walked by him in unfamiliar clothing, looking at him oddly, whispering amongst themselves. Even the inn looked different. The sign that once bore the face of King George III now displayed a portrait of a man named George Washington. Children he'd never seen before pointed and laughed at his long beard and old rusty gun. Panicked and disoriented, Rip wandered through the streets calling out names of old friends, but no one recognized him. And worse, no one he asked seemed to know any of the people he was looking for. Finally, an old woman in the crowd gasped upon seeing his face closely and cried